There are so many bizarre stories that come out of the modern Western world. It's hard to shock people these days, but this story is quite shocking. Now, a quick word of warning, this story is particularly gruesome, and I'll try and stay away from too much of the gory details, but in principle, a 14-year-old girl has been raped by a gang of migrants in Germany, and then 140 people have been arrested afterwards for making quote-unquote hateful comments about the migrants, with one person getting a longer prison sentence than the migrants themselves. Now, this poor girl was attacked a total of 4 times over one evening when she got scattered and lost from her friends. Different migrants used a WhatsApp group to tell their acolytes that this girl was alone and ripe for sexual abuse. Initially, a total of 11 men were charged, with the sperm of 9 of them successfully recovered from the girl's body. According to the website The Publica, which broke the story, 5 of the 9 men were in possession of German passports, while the remainder were not citizens of Germany. Among those charged, none were of German heritage. And even more shockingly, despite DNA and WhatsApp evidence, 8 of the 9 men convicted walked free with probation and spent no time in prison at all. The 9th was sentenced to only 2 years and 9 months. Now, reportedly after the case, one of the migrants had his mobile phone number leaked, and a 20-year-old woman from Hamburg messaged the number stating he was a dishonorable rapist pig and a disgusting miscarriage. She said, "Aren't you ashamed when you look in the mirror?" The migrant in question then reported this lady to the police for supposed abuse. She was then arrested and charged and given a weekend in prison. That's more time in jail than 8 of the 9 attackers. Now, my first instinct on hearing this story was it's so gruesome that this just can't be real. Yet this story was published by a website called The Publica. It seems legitimate. All their sources that they reference here go back to German language websites. I don't speak German, so I can't fully confirm them. Yet on further research into the story, you can see the conservative outlets in the States like the Daily Wire and Blaze Media are covering it, as well as Elon Musk commenting on it recently. And Elon Musk gets right to the heart of the point when he states imposing guilt upon people for things that happened before they were even born is not right. Because how else could something like this happen if it wasn't because of some mass collective guilt that the Germans felt? Now, we all know Western nations are supposed to carry this collective guilt these days. We hear it from the media all the time. Even the Irish and the Swedes are supposed to have it. Yet no one suffers from this more than the Germans, which is obviously due to their Nazi history. Yet in my view, the best way to deal with that history isn't to be as tolerant as you possibly can be by letting migrants off for awful crimes, but instead being rational, firm, very much focused on justice and the truth. Yet the Germans, like many Western nations, don't seem to be able to do that because they're in the grip of a crazy woke ideology centered around collective guilt. Yet the leftists and progressive that push this sort of nonsense don't seem to see that they're winding up the general publics of European nations with every passing week at the moment. This is why figures like Marine Le Pen in France, the AfD in Germany, and Farage over here in the UK are gaining a lot of ground right now. So if the liberal mainstream really was worried about so-called extremism in the future, they'd have a strong and functioning legal system. That they don't shows they've been taken over by hostile actors to the interests of the Western world. That's why to many of us, myself included, it feels like the continent is dividing itself between the traditionalists and the woke utopians. That split may well have to happen for a meaningful future to occur. These are just my thoughts, however. Do let me know what you think down below, and do consider subscribing to the channel.